Hi folks, in this week's tutorial I want to take a look at how we can apply dehaze to an image or parts of an image selectively. Now that could be done in Lightroom or Camera Raw using the adjustment brush, but if you've ever tried that you may have found that a couple of potential problems. Sometimes the adjustment brush can feel quite slow, so it's hard to be accurate. And the second thing is that the auto mask feature in those two programs works based on colors, not edges, so sometimes it's hard to auto mask. So I want to show you how we can do it in Photoshop, being able to apply it using a mask, which is, of course, can be much more accurate. So here's the image that I want to work with, and I want to apply the dehaze just to the sky on this image. So I'm going to start off making a selection. The quick selection tool should do a pretty good job here because there's a fairly definite edge of the church. I just need to add the sky in behind this tree over here. It'll probably come down here somewhere. That's a little too much, so let's take the Option or Alt key to remove that part. So I want something like this. I'm going to take my lasso tool and hold down the Shift key, and I just want to make sure I'm getting this part of the sky as well. Now, I'm working on a JPEG file to make a point. It actually started as a RAW file, but I had to do a bit of tweaking to it. But the point is this could work with a RAW file just as easily, even if you start off in Camera Raw or Lightroom and bring it into Photoshop to do this. So I'm going to make sure that I've converted this to a smart object because I want the filter I'm going to apply to be editable. And the one we're going to use is the Camera Raw filter. Now, if you're not familiar with this, this is a really great feature that's been available for the last little while because it means we can apply Camera Raw, some of the great advantages of Camera Raw, such as dehaze and clarity and things that don't exist in Photoshop, to either an image or even a layer within a layered document, which is a really big advantage. So in this case, I'm going to go directly to the Effects tab. Now you can't see it here, you don't see the mask. And as I move the dehaze slider, one of the things that's misleading is it looks like in this view the entire image is being affected because it looks how the church is being affected as well. But once we click OK, you'll see that the mask is applied. So you just have to kind of use your imagination and focus on what the sky looks like. So I'm going to go with that amount of dehaze for now. See how it pulled out so much information. That's one of the beauties of dehaze, is it not only deals with things just like fog, or in this case clouds, but really pulls out some great detail. So I'm going to click OK to that, and you'll see now when it applies the filters, there's the mask, so you can see that it is actually only applying to the sky. Now that I've done that, I might look at it and say, okay, well, now that I see what it looks like, I might want to go back to the Camera Raw filter and do some further tweaking. Of course, that's the advantage of being a smart filter, is I can double click on it and say, maybe I want to push the exposure and maybe the vibrance just a little bit as well. But I think that dehaze amount actually works pretty nicely in this case, and then click OK. Now, if you compare that with going into Camera Raw or Lightroom and using the adjustment brush and painting that, I mean, you can do it, but I think anytime there's a definite area that you want to select, this can be a huge advantage. Now, the only downside to the way I've done this is, what if I now want to work on the church and make it a little brighter? Well, I can't do it through Camera Raw because this mask means whatever I do in the Camera Raw filter is only going to apply to the sky. What I could do, though, is this. I could load this as a selection, Command or Control, click on that mask, because that's the existing information, and then go to the Select menu and inverse the mask. So now it's only affecting the lower areas, the church and the grass, etc. Now we could use an adjustment layer such as levels or curves. And all I want to do is brighten up that area, and you can see as I'm doing this, it's only affecting the church and the grass because of that mask that I created. And the only thing that didn't work really well is over here. You can see a fairly obvious line between them. So I'm going to make sure I'm on that mask. Take my paintbrush, and let's get a more regular brush. Something like this. Probably still needs to be a little bigger though. And I've got, let's put the opacity at about 60%, and all I'm going to do is paint in here because I just want to blend this in a little better so that there's not this obvious line, because this part I don't care if it's as bright as the rest, something like that. Now, as I mentioned, you can certainly try using the adjustment brush in Camera Raw or Lightroom to do dehaze, but I think, again, like I said, anytime you have a very definite area the one that would be challenging to do with the brush, this is a really nice alternative, is to use the Camera Raw filter with a mask. That's it for this time. We'll see you next time.